Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling something absolutely beautiful, heaven built by God's sovereignty. If you were exploring the gospel, maybe you're a new believer just trying to figure out the core of what this is all about, or honestly, if you're just exhausted by the pressure to be a perfect Christian, this is exactly for you. We're going to take a gentle look at the very relatable struggles of the early disciples and discover how God's kingdom is actually built entirely on grace, no exhausting heavy lifting required.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1, Thaddeus' question regarding heaven. So, Thaddeus, who had this massive, generous heart, asks a question in John 14:22 that, let's be real, we've all secretly thought about. He essentially asks, Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world? Right? If this message is the absolute truth, why isn't God just fixing everything visibly and powerfully right now? Back then, they totally expected the Messiah to just kick out the Romans, take over the world politically, and force everyone to see God's rule. Thaddeus is basically saying, Jesus, you're amazing. Why not just flex your power so everyone literally has to believe? And that brings us perfectly to section 2, human effort versus God's sovereignty.
It's incredibly easy, whether you're brand new to faith or a total veteran, to fall into this exact trap. We look at human effort and think, okay, we need to build heaven on earth by forcing change, building massive institutions, getting visible success. It's like we're trying to muscle our way into the kingdom. But look at the flip side, God's sovereignty. God's reality is totally different. It's an inward life. It's a spiritual reality based on His timing, not our hustle. We crave those big, flashy, worldly victories because they make us feel secure. But trying to force God's kingdom with our own human strength, that's just a one-way ticket to spiritual burnout.
When Jesus is faced with these massive worldly expectations, he just drops this paradigm-shifting truth. He says, my kingdom is not of this world. Wow. I mean, if it were, his followers would have absolutely fought with swords and armies. But the kingdom of heaven, it's not built on politics or physical power. It's a spiritual reality brought to life by God's choice, not our worldly muscle. Moving right along to section 3, the secret of good soil and fruit. So, if we aren't supposed to force the kingdom to grow using worldly tactics, how does it actually grow? Jesus lays this out perfectly in the parable of the sower in Matthew 13. He pictures a farmer tossing seeds, and that seed is the very life of Jesus, his word. But here's the kicker. Fruitfulness depends entirely on the condition of the soil where that seed lands. It has absolutely nothing to do with the dirt just trying really, really hard to magically sprout a plant. And this is the real game changer right here. Becoming good soil isn't this exhausting burden of sheer human willpower. No way. The good soil is actually prepared by God's sovereignty, not by its own effort. It's a beautiful, completely free gift of grace. He is the one getting your heart ready to receive His truth. To put that into perspective, look at the result, up to 100-fold harvest. When God does the heavy lifting to lovingly prepare your heart, that seed organically explodes into life. 30, 60, 100 times what was sown. It happens naturally. The life is completely packed into the seed itself, not in the soil stressing out and trying to perform. Which brings us to section 4, treasuring love like Mary. So what exactly is our role then? If God prepares the heart, what do we do? Well, let's look at this super interesting Greek word tereo. When Jesus says to keep His commands, He uses tereo. It literally means to keep, treasure, or preserve. It's a relational cherishing. It's not about acting like a strict police officer guarding a heavy list of rules. It's more like holding on to a deeply meaningful love letter from someone you care about. This is such a brilliant contrast to our natural instincts. See, there's another word, philoso, which means to guard something violently with human might, like guarding a military fortress. And let's face it, we humans often try to protect our faith exactly that way, arguing and forcing things. But tereo is so beautifully different. Think of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Luke 2:19 says she peacefully treasured the word and pondered it in her heart. She didn't fight armies, she just cherished it. And that leads us to our final section. Section 5, Heaven Realized Within Thee. When you put this all together, the spiritual journey is just breathtaking. First, God steps in with sovereign grace and makes you good soil. Second, you lovingly treasure His word. You tereo it, right? Just like Mary. Third, because you're cherishing it, you abide in deep, restful union with the Lord. And finally, the fruit just grows, entirely naturally. No stress, no striving. You're just walking in grace. This is how true praise and the reality of heaven actually take root right inside of you. Jesus gives us this ultimate promise in John 14:23. He says that when we love him and cherish his teaching, he and the Father will literally come and make their home with us. Just pause and think about the magnitude of that for a second. The creator of the universe takes up residence right in your heart. You don't have to go out and build a visible empire. He brings heaven inside of you. So I want to leave you with this provocative final thought today. Are you still running yourself ragged, striving to build a visible kingdom by your own exhausting human effort? Or are you resting? Are you letting yourself be that good soil prepared by God, just treasuring his word and letting it bear eternal fruit within you? I encourage you to let go of the striving today. Let heaven take root in your heart. Thanks so much for exploring this with me.